This is the front page of the American Weekly Mercury, printed in Philadelphia on Thursday, August 25, 1720. We are reading this Colonial report as a direct, real-time briefing on the world's most pressing geopolitical crises. Today's dispatches cover an escalating trade war in London, a severe market crash in Paris, and retaliatory religious decrees issued from the Hague. To do this, we have to strip away the physical realities of the era. We are ignoring the months-long shipping lags and the mechanical constraints of early printing, focusing purely on the raw data these columns contain. Reading the text reveals a sharp contradiction. Local colonial captains returning from abroad insisted that all was quiet across the Atlantic, while the official European dispatches they carried described a world in systemic rupture. This single broadsheet acts as a ledger of early modern volatility, mapping the deep economic and political frailties of the 1720 Atlantic system. By analyzing the ink on this page, we get a direct, unvarnished window into the precise crises that defined the 18th century consciousness. We start at Desk 1, London. The House of Lords is deadlocked over mercantilist policy and the threat of imported consumer goods. The debate centers on the Calico Bill. The primary witness brought before the chamber is Mr. Gurney, identified here as the famous Norwich Quaker. Gurney delivers what the paper calls an eloquent speech on behalf of the realm's poor weavers and wool manufacturers. Their industry is collapsing due to a sudden shift in global consumer habits, the explosive popularity of wearing lightweight printed calicos across England and the West Indies. This is the fabric at the center of the dispute. These imported textiles featured intricate, color-fast floral patterns that domestic wool producers could not replicate. Gurney testifies to the sheer economic damage. He informs the Lords that domestic wool exports have plummeted, dropping to nearly half their previous value. The crisis is compounded by an illicit black market. Letters produced before the council detail the rampant ruining of calicos, large-scale smuggling operations, moving the banned fabric from Exeter straight into the domestic manufacturing hub of Norwich. According to Gurney, these smuggled textiles are flooding the market for exactly 16 pence per yard, severely undercutting the price of English broadcloth. The political fallout is immediate, but cautious. The Lords vote 29 to 27 to defer the bill for 6 weeks, opting instead to order the Commissioners of Trade to draft a comprehensive regulatory scheme. The stated objective of this scheme is absolute prohibition, the effectual preventing the wearing and use of calicos. Further down the column, almost as a footnote to the economic anxiety, the paper notes the Commons passed a debtors' bill that exact same day. London's economic policy in 1720 is entirely defined by this reactive, desperate defense of domestic industry against the influx of globalized trade. Moving to Desk 2, Paris. The dateline is June 1st, and the news is catastrophic. The dispatch opens by reporting great variations in stock concerning both the National Bank and the India Company. The raw data shows a market in freefall. On Monday, shares were trading at 10,000 livres. By Tuesday, they fell to 4,000. They rebounded slightly to 6,000 on Wednesday before crashing back to 4,500 the very next day. The state moves quickly to contain the panic. 10 commissioners are appointed to seize and inspect the accounts. Of John Law, the architect of this financial system, Law is immediately stripped of his title as Comptroller General of the Finances. The paper records his downfall. Law formally relinquishes his position, losing control over the French economy. By morning, 2 Swiss guards are dispatched. The correspondent openly questions whether they are there for the security of his person or to watch his motions. The India Company functioned as the primary financial engine for French imperial expansion in the Americas. When it failed, it threatened the entire fiscal solvency of the French crown. Amidst this domestic panic, the paper notes the arrival of the ship Marlborough from the East Indies, arriving richly laden with actual physical goods. A brief glance at the current market listings at the end of the dispatch shows the ripple effects, with bank stocks sitting at 157 and India at 2:45. This Paris dispatch captures a moment of total systemic failure. In a single week, the boundaries between high finance, royal politics, and state policing completely dissolve. At Desk 3, we receive the May 7th dispatch from The Hague. The States General has issued a severe sectarian decree, resolving to forcefully banish all Jesuits out of their dominions. The text explicitly states the political motive behind this expulsion. It is direct retaliation for the recent persecution of Protestants in the Palatinate region. The logistics of the purge are strict. All magistrates are ordered to enforce this banishment decree completely by the 1st of June. Right alongside this mass expulsion, the dispatch covers routine statecraft, announcing the accession of the new King of Sweden. The paper documents the exchange of very obliging letters of congratulation passing between the Dutch leadership and the Swedish crown. Formal instructions are sent to Monsieur Bermania, the ambassador positioned in Stockholm, to deliver their respects. These polite procedural formalities are executed on the exact same day that thousands of religious minorities are legislated out of the country. European statecraft in 1720 remains a deeply volatile mixture of formal, polished diplomacy layered directly over blunt, retaliatory religious purges. Before turning to the local news, we catch one final dispatch out of London. A fire broke out near the River Thames, burning down 2 houses and a large woodyard. We now transition to Desk 4 for our domestic reports. The dateline is New York, August 22nd, detailing the arrival of a sloop from Bermuda. This short column demonstrates how information physically traveled the empire. News from England had to cross the Atlantic, filter through ports in Bermuda, and sail north to New York before ever reaching this printer in Philadelphia. When pressed for news, the returning captain provides a confident summary, stating that all was peaceable and quiet in England. As his primary proof of this stability, he notes that the king felt secure enough to leave for Hanover. The broadsheet then concludes with the mundane realities of the colonial economy, listing the local commodities pricing and printing advertisements for runaway servants. The captain's report of peace sits directly alongside columns detailing the exact opposite: massive bank collapses, state-sponsored purges, and a global trade war. The dispatches of August 25th track 3 distinct breaking points: a domestic textile market buckling under international trade, a speculative royal bank collapsing in real time, and a state weaponizing religious exile. The textile riots in Norwich, the market crash in Paris, and the decrees in The Hague are simultaneous stress fractures occurring across the entire Atlantic network. This broadsheet physically connected colonial merchants in Philadelphia to the sudden political and financial ruptures occurring thousands of miles away in the European metropole. By reading the text exactly as it was printed, we access the raw, volatile reality of 1720, long before these events were smoothed over and categorized by modern history books. This specific Thursday edition serves as a precise inventory of an early modern empire operating under extreme internal stress. That concludes our review of the American Weekly Mercury. The text reveals how the sensation of a quiet global order in 1720 relied entirely on the months-long physical delay of the news itself.
The Daily Dispatch, history in print.